Got my little rain ambiance playing. I can hardly hear myself because my sinuses are blocking my ability to hear. But I just watched a video from one of my favorite YouTubers, Darling Desi, and she shared a really sweet quote about being spontaneous and going to a new place for just 15 or 20 minutes or whatever. And since I've been kind of stuck in here sick, haven't gone to many social events. I had a friend drop off a soup for me earlier, which was so sweet and helpful. I'm needing some stimulation and world expansion, so I think I'm either gonna take a drive down my favorite scenic beach road, A1A, or drive west to go to the Everglades. And I kind of feel like going to the Everglades because it's closer and I'll get more daylight that way. The sun is already kind of going down, so even if I catch like just after sunset, that'll be enough light for me, so I'm gonna go do that. And I hope it inspires you to be spontaneous and treat yourself to an adventure. The park is closed, and so are my sinuses mostly, but let's see what we can see. Maybe it's gonna be a pretty drive. Maybe we'll see something special. I can't really talk. It kind of hurts. I forgot how horrible this place is. I forgot how bad the traffic is and how bad the drivers are. So hopefully this will remind me that even in the most unlikely of places, there is still substance to be appreciated. And there's no way to find that substance like being forced to find it in a place where it is not very obvious. I actually feel unsafe driving on these roads because every single time I'm on the road, something happens, I get cut off, something crazy happens. I mean, I have driven up and down the entire East Coast multiple times for extended periods of time, like more than just straight up and down. I've spent months driving up and down. I have never driven anywhere in my life that is as dangerous as Southeast Florida. And I even rode in vehicles in India. But the thing about India is that what I've observed, I could be wrong, I could be missing something. The entire culture seemed to intuitively understand the law of the road. So while they did not follow traffic guidelines, lane dividers, things like this, they still somehow managed. And like motorcyclists would drive between like buses. Culturally, there's a thing called kissing. When your vehicles kiss, they slightly rub up against one another, and it's kind of like a rite of passage from what I learned driving in that country when you kiss another vehicle. Interestingly, maybe I'll insert some India footage in here. It was a really, really beautiful trip. I was there in 2016 for Art of Living's 35th anniversary celebration. 35th or 38th, I can't remember, but it was the World Cultural Festival, and there was 3.775 million people from around the world celebrating cultural diversity and meditating together, and it was really incredible. But yes, I did not observe any accidents or any kind of crazy driving. But the thing about Southeast Florida is that we have people from other countries that don't have the same kind of traffic laws as like we do in the United States. This is what I learned. So like they're taking their driving tendencies and bringing them to the road here, and it's clashing with the way that pretty much most United States natively learned drivers drive. So it's just a clashing of like driving styles, which is what makes it dangerous. But I think the dangerous thing is just that we have different groups of people following different rules on the road. So one group of people, one culture, or even a couple different cultures, they all have a certain set of ways that are intuitive for them to drive. But over here, we follow the traffic rules and the traffic guidelines, and that's what keeps us safe. And I'm not trying to fault any one culture, it just creates a lack of safety when we have all these different groups not playing by the same rules. So something that is intuitively safe for one person in terms of like how to drive is really dangerous for the rest of us. And because of that, I've been that's what I've heard, that's what I learned, so I'm just gonna go with that. There's that, and then also there's the fact that some people just have a blatant disregard for life. It's kind of scary. I really hate living in cities. The stimulation and noise is like kind of draining for me. It takes energy out of me to go on the road, but the goal is nature, and a lot of the time it just creates this conflict. I don't even want to leave my house, but I'm really trying to hold out for the beauty, and I am here because I am currently in transition to go live in a camper in the wild, wild, wild. So I really just want to appreciate everything that this place has to offer, and contribute what I can, and try to create a balance. And it's been a little extra hard these days because I have been sick, so I haven't been going out to socialize much. I had a really brutal last 2 days. My bones hurt, and I'm having ovulation like symptoms, cramps and stuff, and I usually have ovulation cramps for like a day or something. I just feel pressure. It's not necessarily painful, but I feel like a pressure when I'm ovulating, and now it's like hyper amplified, and I was having like crazy low back pain, and my whole pelvis was hurting, and it was pretty crazy. But anyway, I think I'm gonna stop this here and maybe find some pretty footage in my B-roll archives to put over this video. If I see something really beautiful on the road when I'm driving, I will film it. And I feel like another cute idea for a video would be to just film random things here in the city. Like, try to find ways to appreciate the beauty of the city, even though I really do not appreciate living in the city, but to try to appreciate it, because I can appreciate anything and everything. It is the gift of an artist. I am happy to share it because I'm fortunate enough to be able to choose my environment with a certain amount of freedom that I know not every human being has, and I certainly do not want to take that for granted. One of my favorite things about living here actually are the incredible skies. Let me see if you can see this. This is just one of the things that I adore. These cumulonimbus clouds, the heavy, thick, gray, and they're so dense. It's incredible. Yeah, the electricity in the air and the dynamism of these cloud displays is one of my favorite things about living here. The electricity. Although I literally get like heart palpitations every time I walk outside because it's just too hot. It kind of shuts me down. It's really too hot to function. But I still love the beauty of the sky visually. It's incredible. And the balminess. Because I was sick yesterday, really, really, really bad. And I had a fever and chills and stuff, and my temperature was just not regulated. I was able to lay outside and get refuge from the very mild coolness of the inside of my house. My house isn't really cold. It's like comfortable, you know, with a normal body temperature. Like, you can still feel the heat of the outside, but because it was you know, balmy enough outside, I was able to put a towel on the grass and lay down and absorb the heat, and that was really, really fantastic. And I was able to kind of rest and regulate my body temperature, and it helped me fall asleep. The heat did, so I'm grateful for that. It was pretty convenient to be sick with a fever in a climate like this. Every time I cough, I have a jolt of a headache. It's not fun. So I'm gonna pause this here. The sky is just getting more and more beautiful. I'm obsessed with this. It's probably gonna be exquisite when I get all the way out west where there's no more street lights. So let us just enjoy this, enjoy the drive. I am absolutely freaking loving these clouds, man. I am loving these clouds. Oh, that's the moon. My nerves are almost stopping me from going out into the black void of the Everglades right now, especially with potential gators and the boa problem that we have now. Boa constrictors are now the apex big top guys in the wild, so they'll eat everything. everything, and they're reproducing like crazy. It's really black out there, but I'm just gonna inch my way bit by bit. It's very freaky to me, but I'm gonna do it. This is actually too terrifying for me right now. It's just a big open expanse, super freaky. I am just stopped dead in my tracks. I cannot go. I don't know what's lurking in there. And the fact that it's night and there's nobody else around, that adds to it. I experience this every time I go to the wild. It's just such a vulnerable feeling. I don't want to be by myself without protection. There's a little mouse over here, but he's not really moving much. You okay, buddy? Oh gosh. I feel like he's probably injured, although I can't see him really. Go on the grass, buddy. This is like not natural, I think. He's going so slow. Get out of the road, buddy. Go on. Okay. I'm on my way to go edit the video that I started recording yesterday about spontaneity, and I'm going to a new cafe in the spirit of spontaneity. And I'm sitting in my car and I'm realizing, like, the freaking computer in here, like, I have a smartphone in my car. The EMFs are hurting, like, they're painful for me. I feel worse driving in my car, and I noticed that, like, subtly every single time I get in my car, like, I feel worse. And my last car didn't have a computer in it, but now I have a phone and a computer in my car, and so I'm gonna see if shungite and, like, EMF blockers and stuff can help it, but I don't know if they will. I hope they will, but I need some protection, and there is no way that I could live full-time or drive full-time in this thing if it makes me feel like this every single time I get into it. It literally feels like it's bombarding me, and every single time I leave my house and I drive through the city, I just feel like completely bombarded by, like, the stimulation and the noise and the freaking, like, lack of nature and the waves and stuff. It's just like it's a really, hearing myself out loud, I feel self-conscious complaining about this, but I know myself and I'm extremely sensitive to these things, and this is just the reality of how I experience, and I'm not ungrateful for it, but actually I am, because it sucks and it hurts me. This is not natural. This is not fucking nature. This isn't nature. What the hell is this? It's not nature. It's not good for me. I went from living in, like, rural farm country to, like, being here as a transition, and it's really, really, really hard to get a break and get relief. That's my update of the hour. It is very cute here, and I'm surrounded by plants. It's not too over the top, but it is novel. I decided something I could do today to help stimulate my brain's intrinsic need for change and novelty was to go to a cafe I've never been to before. I chose this one because I love the eclectic, maximalist, cluttered decor, and this place had tons of textures and colors and forms and spaces to engage my senses for miles and miles. I wish I could have spent more time filming pretty shots inside and out. It was somewhat crowded inside, but I didn't let that stop me from taking a little video. In fact, after I did that, I saw the man online in front of me go to take a video of the inside. Who's to say whether I inspired him to record? It's a nice idea, but regardless, it's nice just to simply be free and express yourself. What if people generally felt more free to express themselves? So many solo filmmakers feel self-conscious about filming things in public, and I sometimes am one of them. But what if we were less self-conscious and more focused on how we could possibly inspire someone if we simply went ahead and did the creative thing that's gnawing at the back of our inspired fingertips, beckoning for us to release its hungry and bright spirit through our medium of choice? This creative act alone, of writing what I want to say to go over this B-roll, is inspiring a sort of dormant creative spark in me. I have crazy visions and desires to take this kind of work all over the world and film beautiful, novel places with a really great lens, and tell stories and connect with people who represent the places I visit and share their stories through really pretty visuals. This is a raw start or resurgence. Cheers to this moment, and cheers to where we'll go from here. Also, as you know, I am sick right now as I'm filming this video, so I hope you don't mind my super nasally voice.